Some of these guys are high lottery picks, some are guys that were almost out of the league, and some are hyped up prospects that have been forgotten. These are 5 NBA players proving the NBA wrong. Bol Bol has finally got his opportunity and he's not disappointing. The Denver Nuggets were holding him back this whole time. Ever since college, I've loved Bol Bol's game a lot, but sadly, he got injured within the first 4 games and was out for the rest of the year. This tanked his draft stock and he fell to the second round. Everyone was saying the Denver Nuggets got a steal with him in the second round. In his first year in the league, he battled with injury and consistent playing time. He only played a total of 84 minutes. The second and third year, he got way more healthy, but the Denver Nuggets and Mike Malone didn't seem to want to play him. He only averaged 5 minutes a game. And finally, he was traded to the Orlando Magic, but sadly, he had a foot injury and was out for the rest of the season. And just like that, people were slowly starting to forget about Bol Bol, and he was getting labeled another overhyped prospect that turned out to be nothing. And bam, out of nowhere, the Orlando Magic hurl him into the starting lineup, and he's looked great. Just look at the stat lines he's been putting up. He's been playing like Kevin Durant.
Stop it. Get some help.
Okay, he's not Kevin Durant, but he's been rebounding the ball and scoring the ball at will. But my favorite part about his game is his D. I just love his D so much.
What do you mean by that?
He's been averaging 1.9 blocks a game, and he's pretty quick on his feet for being 900 foot tall. I'm just super happy that Bol Bol has found his home in Orlando, and he's been playing super great. Dennis Smith Jr.'s comeback to the NBA is an amazing story. Dennis Smith Jr. started his career in Dallas. In Dallas, his first season, he played pretty good, but sadly for Dennis, they drafted Luka, and he saw a big dip in production. Soon, they then shipped him off in a big blockbuster trade, sending him to New York. The Knicks fanbase did not like Dennis Smith Jr. because he was traded for Porzingis. In New York, he struggled, and he was soon traded to the Pistons. The Pistons did not bring him back next year, and he signed with Portland. He then suffered an injury and was cut. After being cut, he met with his agents, and he told his agents, "I'm not playing overseas," and started training for the NFL. While training for the NFL, he ran into a personnel from the Hornets, and they gave him a workout. This was his last chance to stay in the NBA. After the workout, I guess he nailed it because they ended up signing him. And this is proof to never give up. Dennis Smith Jr. put in the work over the summer and he made it back to the NBA. Lauri Markkanen has been playing out of his mind for the Utah Jazz. The Jazz have really gave him the keys to the offense. On the Jazz, he's averaged 22 points per game on 50% shooting from the field. This shows that he's been held back his entire career. Lauri Markkanen was a high lottery pick for the Bulls, with a lot of potential. But due to an awful coach that forced him to sit on the 3-point line and be a spot-up shooter, those restrictions forced Lauri to be a role player. After a couple seasons of him being a role player, he was traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. On the Cavs, again, he was just another role player. His defense did take a little jump, even though he was playing out of position at the small forward. After one season with the Cavs, he was then shipped off in a blockbuster trade, sending him to the Jazz. And with the Jazz, with the ball in his hands, he's been playing absolutely great. He's been allowed to drive the ball, and he's been dunking the ball and doing a lot of good things. And as of right now, on December 18th, I believe Lauri Markkanen deserves to make the All-Star team, and I can't wait to see him suit up for the team. Lonnie Walker's journey to the NBA is amazing. He's been proving people wrong his entire life. Lonnie grew up in one of the poorest towns in America. He trained every day for hours. He went to a small high school in Pennsylvania. After playing his butt off, he earned a scholarship and went to the Miami University. He then declared for the draft and was drafted by the Spurs. In the first 2 seasons, he did not get a lot of playing time. In his third and fourth season, the Spurs finally started playing him and were utilizing him off the bench. But sadly, the Spurs were deciding to blow it up and he just didn't fit the timeline anymore, and they let him walk for absolutely nothing. The Lakers then picked him up for $6 million, and he's been playing his best basketball of his NBA career. He's been a bright spot for the Lakers, and I really hope he continues to play good because he's been through a lot in life, and he definitely deserves it. Tyrese Haliburton has been proving people wrong his entire career. After falling in the draft when he was supposed to be a top 5 picks, the Kings got a steal with him at number 12. He loved the Kings organization and city. He did a lot with the fans and the community, and he balled out his rookie year. Then came last year's trade deadline. Some of Tyrese's friends asked him if he was worried about the trade deadline, and Tyrese said no. Then, out of nowhere, he got a call from the Kings GM, and they said, "We have traded you to the Indiana Pacers." Tyrese was devastated. He was mad at the Kings organization. He didn't understand why they didn't want him. But then, a couple weeks later, he hopped on ESPN. They started talking about the trade, and he had a huge grin on his face and said, "It was probably the best thing that could have happened for my career." Next season, for Indiana, he's been averaging 20 points per game and 11 assists. He is really making the Kings regret trading him.